What's going on, guys? And thanks for joining me today. And I am so happy that we are here today. We've been blessed with a nice warm day. It's going to get to about 70 today. So we're going to take full advantage of that and get these pieces primed. So have everything set up right now. I just have these hanging from the trusses. Should be spaced out plenty. I just initially have all these things wiped down with a microfiber to get most of the dust and everything off. So the really only thing left to do on these is going to go back and hit all of this with mineral spirits, wipe it all down with mineral spirits to get any kind of oil or anything left off of them. And then once we get ready to paint, then I'll come back again with the tack cloth and wipe everything down just so we're good. And tack cloth isn't super necessary for these, and I'm not super concerned about dust just being in the barn here, because we're going to be sanding this primer anyways, so it's not a huge deal if we get dust and stuff in it. I'll be able to sand it out and should get it looking good. But that's going to be it for right now. We're going to get started wiping down all the pieces, and then when we are letting that dry, I'm going to go over and touch on my gun setup, because I mentioned it earlier way back when I first made and painted the front bedside, but I want to go back over it again, make sure that if you're interested in it, you know what's going on and how I have it set up. So while we let those pieces dry, I want to take a second and talk about the gun setup and the primer that we're using. This is just the cheap primer surfacer duplicolor from Advance Auto. I use them for everything that I get automotive-wise. One, because the people in the stores in my area here are super nice and really helpful. You know, it could be, you could use any store that you want as long as you like the people. That's what I say. So they're really helpful, more than any other place in this area. So I use everything from them. And again, what I'll say is order everything online and pick it up in store. One, or you could have, they do free same day delivery, depending on when you order. So on this stuff, they generally have an overall on the website, if you order online, anywhere between 15 to 25% off that you'll get just as an online promo code. So use that, sign up for their speed perks. You know, I used the 15% off code and a $5 free speed perks coupon. So I got like a total of $12 off on this stuff, which is awesome. And then I'm just using some lacquer thinner. This is a medium evaporation rate from Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever you want. Now for the gun, just using of course the compressor kicks in right as I'm talking about this. All right, the compressor kicked off, we're good to go now. But this is just the cheap one that's on sale, $10 spray gun from Harbor Freight. I sprayed that toolbox that I redid that I found in the trailer, and it worked great to do that. I believe it comes with like a 1.3 or 1.4 millimeter tip on it, and that works great for, you know, regular paint and stuff. But for this primer, it recommends like a 1.8 to 2 millimeter tip. So all I did for this, because I did try to spray primer with it the very first time on the front bedside, and it was horrible. There's a ton of buildup on the tip here, and it came out really bad on the actual bedside itself. So what I've done is taken a 5/64 drill bit, which comes out to about 2 millimeters, and drilled the tip out. So that's something that's really easy to do. You just have to take this off and drill this out, and it works perfect. Works really good. No problems at all. I mean, I don't remember if I drilled both of these out, this, and took this out as well. I think it's this one. Anyways, yeah, you can take both of them off and just make sure that you get plenty of clearance for the 2 millimeters. But now, you know, I sprayed a second coat or second time on that front bed size, and it worked perfectly. So now you can have, you know, you can either get 2 of these and leave one as standard for your regular paint with the, you know, 1.3 or 1.4 tip, and then use one as your primer gun, which is what I'm doing with this one. I bought another gun. It's a Europro, the HE. Haven't used it yet. I'll be spraying the base and clear on this with it. So I'm going to use this since it's drilled out as my primer gun. And for this stuff, it says to have a 35 or 25 to 30 psi as your pressure. So I just have the you know, water separator coming into the gun, have the air valve on the gun all the way open, and then just have the fan on the gun turned all the way up, and then as much paint flow as we can get. So pretty, you know, it's a cheap gun, and you know, for what we're doing here, spraying primer, it works great. We don't need a perfect finish. We're going to be sanding it anyways, but this is what we're using. So again, you can just drill out the tip with a 5/64 drill bit, and it works perfect. Oh yeah, so you can see right here, it says 1.4, so it does come with a 1.4 millimeter tip on it. But drill it out to 2, it's perfect. I mean, my reasoning for just drilling it out is it's a $10 gun anyways. If I screw it up, I can go buy another one, and I'm not out a whole lot of money. So that's my gun set up. Now we're gonna get everything set up and get ready to spray.
All right, we're gonna be starting on the end here. Starting on the end, getting the edges and face done first. Edges and face done on both of these columns, and then we'll flip the nozzle and head to the other side.
right, so we finished priming these things and they turned out really nice in my opinion. So we'll just take a look. So we got 3 coats on here, and the second coat I had issues and I just had trouble figuring out why it wouldn't spray. I was having trouble getting any paint to come out, and I really could not figure out what was going on. It took me a while, but finally got it figured out, and I'll show you what it was in a minute. But so I got the first and third coats on here, really nice. Second one's kind of iffy. Had a little bit of a run here. That was in the second one. We're having issues, and it just all came out at once. But that'll sand out, no problem. All in all, I think it looks really good, especially for being what they are. And I'm really happy with the fenders. These fenders turned out fantastic. I think they look awesome. Had a few small runs in this one, but overall not bad. Then our last one here. And I think it looks fantastic. So what was going on with the gun is it was not spraying much paint. Couldn't really figure out why to begin with. And I mean, we're getting plenty of air. The compressor still had air. We're still getting 30 PSI through the gun. So we actually took it apart during the second coat and cleaned everything, and that helped for a little bit. But we did overlook one thing when we were cleaning, and I finally figured this out, is that little cap right on the top. So let me turn out the light here. So this guy right here was the problem. So this lets air get into the hopper here, and it closes it off. So, you know, when you tip the gun back, you know, to spray, you know, up under the edges and whatnot, it doesn't all come pouring out. Well, I think what happened was on the first coat, when I was doing that on these fenders, that the primer ran up into here and clogged up this hole. Let me see, where is it? Yeah, the little, oh, there it is. Yeah, the little weep hole right there. Can't really see it, but it clogged that up. So the second coat, air could not get into the hopper here, which didn't allow, you know, it created like a vacuum in here, and it would bubble every now and then, and paint would squirt out. So the third coat, and just took this off, didn't clean it, just took this off completely, and it fixed the issue. It sprayed beautifully, and you know, as you can see, it turned out pretty good. Even with that second coat messed up and splotchy, the third one was able to really kind of smooth it all out. So that was a big learning point for me. I, you know, haven't done much of this at all. I mean, the only, you know, spraying I've done is one on that toolbox, which is a completely different thing, and then priming the front bedside that I made. So that's the only time I've sprayed primer before. And I had to learn from that as well, you know, having to drill out the tip. So that's another thing. If you're spraying primer or something like that and you're having issues, check and make sure that your hopper, or whatever they actually call this, is able to get air into it. That could be one of your issues why you're not getting much paint out. So glad I was able to figure that out and get that fixed. Big learning moment for me there is to pay attention to that. So, you know, we're good here. I'm really happy with the results, happy that we're able to get to this point. I mean, I know I say this every time, but it's a big move forward, especially getting these painted. I know that up until this point, doing all the Bondo and sanding and stuff, that's just, it's so tedious. I'd lost, you know, a lot of motivation and enthusiasm in doing this. And, you know, finally getting this paint down, it's brought that, you know, energy back up a little bit. Excited to be here. But we just have to sand these now. So that's the next big thing. As much as I hate sanding, and as tedious as it'll be, you know, it's all part of the process, and it's worth getting it right. So we'll be sanding in the next one. We'll be going 320 grit, 400, and then 600, I believe. Then I believe on the last two, I'm going to wet sand as well. So still a lot of work to be done, but happy that we were able to get a warm day. Really blessed for that and able to get this paint down and figured out. But thanks for watching. If you're still around, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned on everything we're putting out here. Really getting this trailer done. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.